Welcome to Two Tipsy Plants, the podcast where we drink plants and talk booze. My name is Sasha. Sorry, let me do it again. Welcome to Two Tipsy Plants, the podcast where we talk plants and drink booze.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds about right.
And today we'll be talking about...
Yes.
my name is Sasha.
Yes, and my name is Sasha too. For the record, this is the first episode we are recording today, so it's not like we've recorded another one and had some wine. No.
I mean, the first take was better, but... All right, so on this episode, we will be talking about, referring to our first episode published on this podcast, and that was the most listened to so far. It is the Stranger Plants Part 2.
Yes, and they're weird names.
Yes.
But, as usual, before we start, what are we having today?
Oh, I didn't even expect you to ask me that question. All right. Today, we're having...
Your sarcasm is...
pouring through the microphone?
Yeah.
All right. So today we have a very interesting and strange wine. Just for the topic. We have Latta Rattlesnake 2021 Blanc Contact. So it is a skin contact wine, and this one is quite interesting. It is a blend of skin contact ferments of classic French varieties. It is another out-of-the-box hit from the winemaking prodigy. This is Owen Latta's crazy concoction that is made up of many different skin contact ferments, which are Riesling, Viognier, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris, Gewürztraminer, and Chardonnay.
A wild card.
Mm-hmm. It is going to be very interesting to try. I definitely have not tried this kind of blend before. Yeah. And all of those grapes were fermented on skins, besides the Sauvignon Blanc. Let's crack it open.
Oh, that was a good crack.
That's what she said. He said. Somebody said it.
Look. Oh, the color is nice. Shit, the color is like super rich for white wine.
I was actually quite expecting it to be orange wine. I don't know why.
Because of the skins, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but also because the bottle itself is...
it's got an orange cap on it. Yeah.
It has orange cap and it's actually a brown bottle. It's a brown glass bottle. But yeah, the color of the wine itself is quite honey.
Are you hinting at our next episode?
What episode? I don't know what you're talking
wink,
about.
Wink, hint, hint. Do you know what the color looks like? Kombucha?
It does look like kombucha.
Yeah.
It's also slightly cloudy.
Yeah. Oh, smells like that Gewürztraminer that we had. Okay, my mouth is watering. It must be good.
It smells like Viognier and Gewürztraminer.
Must be sweet. Okay, we are sitting at a relatively long table. I don't know if we can actually reach for ka-chink. Right, let's. Okay, cancel that. It's not sweet at all.
It's not that dry though.
It's pretty dry, but it's very crisp. You know what I mean?
Slightly spritzy as well.
Yeah, slightly spritzy. Well, you can kind of see from all the bubbles as well. You know, when you pour that, it is a bit spritzy, like actually spritzy. It is a little bit cloudy too.
Smells slightly yeasty. Well, that's because it's using indigenous yeast in separate batches on full lees. Yeah, it smells quite yeasty.
I like the smell, but with the taste, I can't taste the bouquet or the palate. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong, it's a very fresh, I feel like it would be a good wine for like a hot summer day.
Absolutely.
But I can't feel anything outstanding. It's definitely spritzy. It's a little bit like bubbly. It
has nice acidity to it as well. It is definitely a full mouthful thanks to the Viognier that it has in Chardonnay. And it's not flappy wine by no mean.
It's definitely, you can definitely taste Chardonnay, like the oaky aftertaste.
It has like apple skin aftertaste to it, like on a tongue residue.
Maybe.
Like slightly tart.
It's a nice wine. It's just, I feel like maybe it needs to be a little bit more chill because like the one that we're having.
It is a room temperature wine at the moment. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of cold wines, but I am not a big fan of people who put ice in wine. That's just, I mean, you do you, but no, not in my glass.
Today.
Hey, it's quite look at those legs on the glass.
Legs. What's on the menu?
It's pretty, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's good. It's just, I can't really taste the palate, but I feel like, as I said, for a hot summer day, that would be lovely.
Well, I guess we'll have to just post the palette later on Instagram.
All right. So, as Sasha mentioned before, we are talking about stranger plants and their weird names, part 2 today. Do you have a lot of plants on your list?
I did not number, and I can't remember how many, but I think at least 5 or 6.
Okay, good. So, because I've got about 5 or 6 as well. So maybe I'll start and then we'll just go one by one. How about that?
Go ahead. Give me a second. I'm gonna adjust the mic. Go.
I will start with a plant that I know you know. I know you know.
I don't know what I know.
So, but I don't know if you know the...
I don't know if I know what I don't know what I know.
I don't know if you know this common name, because I actually did not know that common name. There's a lot of know and don't know in about like the last 10 seconds that we were talking. Anyway, do you know what a Singapore graveyard flower is?
No. Gory, I like it. Life is sad. Singapore is sad.
It is a
Plumeria obtusa.
Yes! Woo!
Just because it's never rubra, so this time it's probably obtusa. The episode might be as well called It's Never Rubra.
It's never rubra, no. So Plumeria obtusa, which is obviously a part of Frangipani family, is also known as Singapore graveyard flower, a species of genus of Plumeria. It is native to neotropics. Sounds very like cyberpunk sort of, neotropics. And it is widely cultivated for like the ornamental and the fragrance of the plant.
Yeah, you can see it everywhere. Like every time you go to any Polynesian island like Bali or anything, it will be everywhere. The flower itself, it's like very spa associated.
Yeah, the first time I encountered a plumeria was in Saipan.
Saipan, yeah.
Which is one of like the American islands.
I was quite surprised to see plumeria. I think it was obtusa, not rubra, in our garden center that we used to work in. They used to sell it there.
Yeah, but also it grows in Whangarei.
Huh.
Whangarei, yeah. So the species, it flowers throughout the year in tropical environments. I'm not sure when it would flower in New Zealand, because obviously it's like sort of subtropical.
During the warmer climate?
The fragrance is very strong.
I love it so much.
What, the fragrance? Apparently it's stronger at night. What does that mean?
Night pollinators.
Yes. So it attracts moths, apparently. And in the morning, many flowers drop off. And because of that, because the flowers drop off, in a lot of cultures, like let's say in Indian and Malay cultures, as well as Buddhism as well, this plant is often associated with
new life.
New life. So there are a few associations. Some of them are like the new life, the beginning of life, but also the dropping of the flowers represents an offering of flowers to the dead.
Oh.
And hence it is quite a popular tree to be planted.
Everything has an end.
Yeah. Hence it's quite a popular tree to be planted on graveyards. And obviously because Singapore is such a satellite for Indian, Malay and Buddhist cultures as well, apparently it's planted on the graveyards a lot. So because of that, they are saying that people are quite hesitant to plant it anywhere else but graveyards. But like, remember the condo where I lived and the pool, and it was just never planted there.
I assume if you're not Malaysian or Indonesian or Indian, like who doesn't know that specific aspect of the culture and that specific aspect of a plant that it's usually planted on the graveyard, you would probably think about it as a spa plant and just an overall beautiful plant.
Yeah, it kind of, I guess it's the same as like, you know, how in our culture, if you give an even number of flowers, that's like for funerals, so you would never give it to anybody else. And sometimes I find it,
unless on purpose.
To me, it's a bit bizarre that like in some shops in New Zealand, let's say, you can see like even numbers of flowers in the bouquet. But obviously it's because my culture is a little bit different. Well, okay, the culture that I grew up in is a little bit different.
My culture.
No, it's not my culture.
It's my
Screw that.
culture and my cult.
My cult. Anyway, that's the Singapore graveyard tree, aka Plumeria obtusa. Do you know what obtusa means?
I can't remember.
It refers to the shape of the leaf. So
Some star?
Plumeria rubra has like pointy leaves, where
Hmm.
obtusa has a
Rounded?
oval,
Oval?
like oval-ended leaves. Yeah.
Oblong?
Yeah. I wanna grab my book. Sorry.
Yeah, that can be a good idea. What a way to start an episode on a high note.
Yep. Oh, far out.
I should have done it for
Yes,
you.
I'm too short. Very short.
I think your husband knew that you were too short and intentionally put the shelf that high.
Well, it kind of has to be above the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love it. I love that shelf. It has all of my plant books and my landscape architecture books and my Harry Potter books and my I'm a geek, low-key geek books. So yeah. Anyway.
Soon to come, the all books about wine.
And that as well, yeah. Well, yeah. We might have to build another one above.
I do want to have a shelf for books as well.
Mm.
Okay. My plant is going to be next.
Mm-hmm.
Hydnora. Scientific name is Hydnora africana.
Oh, I guess it comes from Africa.
Well, what do you know? Its main habitat is southern Africa.
Okay.
It is a parasitic plant that latches
Ooh.
onto the roots of the host plant. The best example of a similar plant will be probably a Rafflesia that we have discussed in the previous episodes. The most plant.
Yeah, the biggest flower.
The biggest flower and this one of the stinkiest ones as well.
Yeah, and it also was in our plants
plants
on
that-
currencies.
Yeah. It was also, I think it also was on plants that do not plant. Like, do not do plant things.
Possibly.
Because-
Possibly, yeah.
So yeah, it that plant have been mentioned all over. But we're not talking about Rafflesia, we're talking about Hydnora, which is quite... Let's just continue talking about it, and you'll know what I mean by that exhale. Just like Rafflesia, she is stinky. Sasha, why do you think it is a she, you may ask? Well, the picture of the plant that I'm looking at the moment looks like a hostile vulva, and apparently it smells like shit. Literally.
Okay, vulvas don't smell like shit. Let's start with that. But okay.
Well, they don't, yeah. But this one apparently looks like one and smells like not vulva, but like shit.
Great.
Yeah, the typical pollinator of the plants are beetles, which
I'm
get
surprised that not flies.
which get trapped in a plant until the flower matures. The beetle will be released unharmed and seeded. Pollinated. Pollen over. So yeah, that's the Hydnora. I'm looking at the plant picture. I will try to give it to show it to Sasha. I want you to see it because it looks like a chestnut that has a slit and teeth and pink vulva-like thing. And
It kind of looks like a what is it called? That mushroom?
the mushroom, the puff mushroom. Something
No, the thorn. Oh, yeah, it does look a bit
like
alien pussy.
alien pussy. Yeah. Let's settle on that one. Like it very much depends on what kind of picture you're looking at.
Yeah.
Because I assume the picture that I'm looking at is not like fully developed, matured plant flower, whereas the later on it will look more like a fungus that we were talking about in one of our episodes that looks like tentacles.
Thorn. What is it called?
Slughorn? No, slug. I remember I was associating
horn.
with a slughorn.
Yeah, stinky horn. There you go.
Mm.
Okay. That's another one to add to those plants that look like
Different things.
genitals. Yes. Nice.
Also, it quite looks like a plant that does not really exist and it looks like it's been done in Photoshop or with AI generator.
Yeah. Did you know that there are books, AI written books on plants and foraging now?
Nice.
It's so bizarre actually, because like they also create like an AI generated author.
Mm.
So you actually need to Google the author and do your own research to find out whether that author is an actual person or just
I
an
am
AI.
not really sure how much I would be trusting those books.
You kind of need to do your own research to make sure that it's not an AI generated book, because obviously I'm assuming that is done just for the money. Because books, the reason I love books is because people put so much effort into doing all the research to actually compile all the information in one book.
I do hope somebody proofreads it before they publish it, because then it might cause some problems.
You can sell any book on Amazon pretty much, so yeah.
These days, I prefer going to library, and I just have a very big appreciation of the books that have been published before 2010s even, because that's when people have been actually doing research, sitting in a library, not relying on the materials that they find on the internet, and not repeating the same information that you can find on every forum.
Something about these glasses, I keep spilling wine on myself. No, I agree. Like, I like that's the reason why I wanted the shelf. I might take a picture of it and put it on Instagram as well. The light fixture is like the old one. We haven't fixed that just yet, but yeah. Yeah, that's why I love my shelf, and I asked Max to do the shelf just so I can see all of my books here, so I can easily reach them. But I also love my collection on Kindle, and I love the fact that it's so accessible. It's just in one little device, and you can access it from like your laptop or from your phone as well. Yeah, not sponsored by Kindle.
I wish.
All right, is that you and your vulva-looking plant? The next plant that I have is a dynamite tree.
Wow.
Yeah. Which
Matthew McConaughey kind of wow.
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 Again, I found that plant by listening to a book, actually, Around the World in 80 Trees. I've got both Kindle version and like the Audible version.
Dynamite, is it just... Let me just try to think why it can be called dynamite. The first idea straight away is that it just gets so dry it explodes.
You are close, but not quite.
The other one, it's like eucalyptus. It's very highly flammable because of the oils that it has within the tree.
The plant is called Hura crepitans, and crepitans means rustling or crackling. Oh, actually it says as in Hura crepitans in my Latin for Gardeners book. So the tree is also known as sandbox tree, possumwood, monkey no climb. Do you know why that would be?
Well, if it climbs, it kind of explodes, so kind of minefield for monkeys.
Well, not quite, but I'm just gonna airdrop.
Possum no climb. Well, possum tree. I wonder if it's in Australia.
I'm airdropping a picture for you, so you can see why it's called monkey no climb.
Oh.
Yes, it looks like a very, very thick...
Very Thunderdome vibes.
It kind of looks like a very blown out rose stem to me, with a lot of thorns. So yeah, that's why it's called monkey no climb, but also it is called a dynamite tree. So with your dynamite and explosion guessing and theory, you're very close. So the tree has a fruit that kind of looks like a pumpkin, like a tiny little pumpkin, about 3 to 5 centimeters long and 5 to 8 centimeters in diameter. And it has about 16 carpels, like a little dulki segments, call it that way, arranged radially. When it's ripe, the capsules, they explode, splitting into segments and launching seeds at 250 kilometers an hour.
Wee.
It's just pew!
I think, yeah.
It's fast as. So some sources claim that the seeds can go as far as 100 meters away from the tree.
Well, as long as those seeds are not very pointy, just like a trunk of the tree.
No, they don't have thorns. The seeds don't. But yeah, they can fly. Some sources say they can fly as far as 100 meters away, but other sources say that on average it's about 30 meters. So I'm assuming it's a little bit more realistic, because like if it flies 100 meters away, it kind of has to be not obstructed by anything else. Yeah. But yeah, I found it really cool how there is a tree that can sort of throw seeds away at the speed of 250 kilometers an hour.
Let's jump into the realm of imagination and optimization. Can you imagine if that tree was a little bit more gory and those seeds were a little bit more pointy, just like a spikes.
Like a bullet?
Like a bullet. And then it would be triggered by a touch, like a bird or something. And then the reason for that would be it grows better in the body.
Okay, who needs AI-generated horror when Sasha can do it for you?
Hey, I did generate a banshee plant last time.
Yeah, you did generate a plant that you decepted me with. You son of a beast.
Well, it was the episode of deceptive plants. Kinda.
No.
It was an episode of plants that do not do the plant thing.
Yeah. So you did a good job there. You did a good job. Okay. So that's me and the dynamite tree, also known as sandbox tree. No idea why it's called sandbox though, but yeah.
So, the next plant that I would like to cover will be the Ceropegia woodii. I see Sasha's eyes just jump up like, I know that one.
Ceropegia, yes. Is that the...
Yes, you are touching the ballsack.
Pitcher plant.
No, that's an Nepenthes.
What is Ceropegia? Tell me, because like it's right there, but I can't remember what it is.
It's a string of hearts.
There you go. Woodii, did you say?
Woodii is a string of hearts. So there is nothing weird about the plant, you may say, but I think it deserves a spot on this list. Besides having different varieties of Ceropegia, like string of digs that we have covered in the previous episodes, it has a different aspect to the plant that is just fascinating to me, and not many people actually pay attention to that aspect as well. We all know and love our chain of hearts. What not to love? It makes an awesome hanging plant, actually. And
I've got it on like a shelf above my TV, and it sort of hangs down.
And it's reasonably easy to grow.
You just water it from time to time, and that's it.
But what I wanted to mention that I think is strange is that if it's happy, it will grow bulbs like potatoes and globule-like thingies. And those things can be planted directly into the soil. That's very easy way of propagating if you will wait until they actually grow.
I assume that's the way the plant spreads as well. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like strawberries, you know how they send like shoots and then they root those shoots. So I'm assuming that little globe is the anchor, call it that way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Is it just me or this wine is kind of... What's the percentage on it?
It's very easy to drink. It's 12.4.
For white, that's actually...
High.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have much sugar content in it, residue, so that means it's all been processed, fermented, and converted into alcohol. So there we are.
Yeah.
And considering that the main grape over there is Riesling, Pinot Gris, and Gewürztraminer, those are high in sugar content.
At least it's not like it doesn't smell like alcohol. You know how you sometimes open the wine and you're like, ugh, it reeks.
Acetone. But if you plant for, like, just going back to the Ceropegia, if your plant is very happy, which never happens to me actually with the chain of hearts, it will flower for you. And
I think you had it flowering once though, didn't you?
I think I bought it flowered. You're like, yeah, big deal, man. The chain of hearts flowers, yeah. Why is it a big deal? Because actually this year it flowered for me.
Oh yay!
My variegated one flowered for me. Variegated chain of hearts. And it got pollinated.
Okay.
And it produced a seed pod.
Oh, that's so cool. Have you tried growing it from the seed?
I have collected yesterday the seeds from the seed pod.
Nice. Let's hope you can grow more out of your seeds.
Yeah. First of all, let's discuss the flowers.
Sorry, is that the variegated one that you have? Nice.
Yes. First of all, let's discuss the flower of the plant itself, because I think if you look into it, it has more things to offer.
It's not really a flower, right? Like, it's not your traditional, like a cinder with flower petals. No. No.
Yeah, like, have you ever tried to look at it up close and pay attention? It is actually quite creepy and hairy. And apparently, the way it gets pollinated is very, very, very similar to the plant that was featured first on this list by me. Who would have thought? It is literally, if you look up the picture of Hadnora when it's a mature plant and the picture of a flower of a Ceropegia woodii, that will be kind of similar structure of a plant, which is quite fascinating to me.
Is the plant self-pollinating then, or do you have two different Ceropegias in a house?
No, it is self-pollinatable, like, apparently.
Okay.
Who would have thought? But yeah.
So it must have male and female, or the
something.
Well,
But instead of beetles, it's being pollinated by flies, actually. Yeah, I have harvested seeds yesterday. They were dry enough. Unfortunately, each seed pod has like 5 seeds. But what is the fun part about it? They are very light, extremely light, and very fluffy.
the seeds.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cute.
So they are fluffy to a point where any movement of air makes your plant makes your plate chase with the elusive fluff. It's
Do you
like,
want to take a picture of it for
do.
Instagram later? Nice.
Yes, that is it for Ceropegia woodii,
Which is
aka Chain of Hearts.
Chain of Hearts, String of Hearts, Rosary wine, Hearts on a String, and Sweetheart wine.
The other one, when I was looking up for this research, it was parachute flower.
Parachute or balloon?
Parachute flower.
Oh.
Because apparently the flower looks like a parachute.
Oh, like it's called parachute flower, as in the Ceropegia.
Mm.
Huh. It kind of looks like a wiener a little bit as well.
It does. That's why it's called String of Dicks as well. When in
when
one
it
of the
flows.
yeah, when one of the varieties has just a string, we have discussed it in a previous episode, doesn't have any leaves, but has flowers. So it just looks like String of Dicks.
Great.
Would you like to have one? My friend has it.
What, a string of dick?
Yeah. It looks like a noodle plant, but that you have.
I actually don't mind because I can add it to, like, plant it next to where my string of heart is, just on that same shelf.
Mm-hmm. While Sasha is looking, I'm just trying to get any hints / notes of the wine. And going to my trusty wine folly, it says green apple, called it jasmine, which probably more on a nose rather than on a palate. Petroleum, which is more on a nose rather than on a palate. And lime, because of the acidity of the wine. That's for the Riesling component of the wine. I'll get back to you with Gewürztraminer component of the wine.
So the next plant that I have on my list is called breadfruit. Are you imagining like bread being grown on trees?
Croissant?
Croissant tree? So breadfruit, the botanical name is Artocarpus altilis, is a species of flowering tree in mulberry family, believe it or not, and jackfruit family. So the fruit kind of looks like a jackfruit.
Yeah, / durian.
Yeah. Apparently breadfruit is closely related to breadnut.
What is a breadnut?
It's another tree in the same genus, and it is similar in appearance to its relative of the same genus, jackfruit. So apparently, like, I couldn't find why it's called breadfruit, but I think I can get a hint.
You probably can make bread out of it.
You can make it into flour, yes.
Well, I assume the seeds, not the pulp.
So the breadfruit apparently is 71% water and 27% carbohydrates. So I'm assuming this is the reason why it's called bread fruit, because obviously it's rich in
Carbohydrates means sugar, which... Yeah.
Breadfruit is a staple food in a lot of tropical regions. So again, that's probably why it's called breadfruit as well. And you can eat it raw, or you can roast it, bake it, fry it, or boil it. So very similar to potato. And apparently the moderately ripe...
Starch, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yes, starch, yes. Moderately ripe breadfruit is described as potato-like as well. So hence, I guess, for tropical countries, it is a staple food. And apparently one tree can produce 200 kilograms each season.
Shit.
Which is great. Yeah. I've never tried it before. I would love to try it. So there are some... because the breadfruit trees usually produce large crops at certain time of the year, so you have like a massive harvest.
And then you just make shit ton of flour out of it.
Well, they try to sort of turn it into something else or preserve it. So you can do like a ferment where you bury peeled and washed fruits in a leaf-lined pit and ferment it over several weeks to produce like a sour sticky paste.
That's the way how you do the prison wine.
Great. But you can also obviously eat it raw, or you can ground it into flour, and the seeds can be cooked for consumption as well. So it's quite a well-producing tree.
Awesome.
I can tell you that. Yeah. So yeah, that's the breadfruit. Um, again, that came from that Around the World in 80 Trees book. But I just found the name really cool, breadfruit.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't say why it's called breadfruit, but as I said, it's probably because it's quite high in carbohydrates and it's a staple fruit in tropical countries.
Awesome. Thank you, Sash. That was actually quite interesting.
I actually imagine it to taste like bread now, but it probably doesn't taste
so.
like bread at all.
Yeah. I found the notes of Gewürztraminer on this wine, and if you smell the wine, the glass, empty
the glass, exactly.
If you smell the glass,
you will. Me some more?
Yes.
Is that your or my splitter? That's your splitter.
My splitter.
I need to find mine.
So yeah, if you smell the glass full of wine now, it smells like lychee, tangerine.
Definitely lychee. I don't know about tangerine,
rose.
But lychee. Yeah, a bit of a hint of rose, yeah.
Yeah. I'll get back to you with Chardonnay later on.
How about you do the plant first?
I will do. Yeah, that's why I'm doing the plant.
Plant first.
So right now I'm gonna do. The next plant on the menu is a strangler fig.
Strangler fig. So I'm assuming parasitic.
It is.
Okay.
So it's a ficus family, and yes, the same old creeping ficus that is living on your windowsill or in your garden, and it is related to this beast.
Are you talking about Ficus pumila?
Well, related to it.
Well, what is this particular one?
This one like it just says strangler fig, ficus, but it did not specify the species name.
Oh, apparently it's a name for a number of ficuses. There are like 10 or so different ficuses for strangler fig.
Well, they probably all grow in a similar pattern.
Oh, you can find them in Australia as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this plant is described in a number of publications as a parasitic nightmare, which describes it perfectly, to be honest. I am more than sure that you have seen it in at least one or couple of TV series or movies or anywhere.
I mean, even like with us, I think we saw it in real life in Singapore, definitely. Yeah,
if you are from tropic country, you definitely have seen it in your life.
Or Australia.
Says, think of any movie that is featured in tropics and has abandoned temples in it. And do you remember the meandering, kind of entangled roots of a mysterious tree covering the structures, like an old temple? Yep. That is a very high possibility that that's going to be that strangler ficus.
Do you know what I'm thinking? Like the first picture that came to my mind is the Tomb Raider.
That was my idea as well when I was describing it.
Yeah, I can't remember. It wasn't when she was in Cambodia. I can't remember what movie it is, but like there was that jasmine that she smelled. And then, the temple kind of looked with that, or like Indiana Jones, I guess, sort of style. Yeah.
All of those, what is it? Temple heist
thingies. Tomb raiding.
Yeah. There is a very high chance it's that big boy ficus that you probably have seen on TVs anyways. What excites me about this plant is that it starts off essentially as a vine, well, a number of vines that web around the host tree, robbing this tree of the host out of its nutrients and eventually overshadowing it from sunlight.
Yeah.
It will outlive the host plant and become the tree on the same spot of it instead.
It is quite a woody.
Once it's mature, it's quite woody. Sometimes it lives long enough where the host tree have rotted away, and what you are left with is actually just ficus tree with empty shell, and it just looks like a macrame tree. It's very cool, like an elf tower-like structure. And this plant is found in Australia as well.
Apparently, they are hemiepiphytes.
So they can start either from the bottom, from the soil, or they can start from the top of the tree.
So I guess it depends where the seed has
have landed.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, it's obviously it's not cool for the
very
host
dramatic
plant.
For a host.
Yeah, but in terms of like just the survival
of the fittest.
Yeah.
But also if it starts at the top of the tree, the chance of it robbing the tree out of nutrients even higher because there is no soil to get nutrients from. If it starts at the bottom, it will be taking nutrients from the tree and from the soil. Whereas if it's on the top, well, good luck, tree, you're dead.
I was just looking at the Wikipedia page just to find the scientific name, but obviously, yeah, as I said, there are a few of them.
Yeah.
But apparently it also says that it is believed that strangler fig can help its support tree survive storms. Like, yeah.
Well,
I guess it will help it for the first, like, I don't know how many years, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's it. You did.
He's like, I love you until I am mature enough. I'll help you until I'm mature enough. No, bye. It's like very toxic relationship.
Yeah. So that's the strangler fig. Is that correct?
Yep. And going back to Chardonnay, it can be found in this wine.
I can definitely taste Chardonnay, like a smell
butteriness.
Yeah.
And vanilla, and pineapple, starfruit, yellow apple.
Starfruit, yes, because it's quite sourish, sort of. Oh, I miss starfruit.
I don't really like starfruit, to be honest.
I really liked it. It was my
guilty pleasure.
No, because I went to like a secondary school in Singapore, like a government secondary school. Secondary schools, well, in primary schools, I'm assuming they have their own canteen in school. And obviously there were different stalls, and one stall sold like different fruit. So
yeah, with that powder, like weird one, tajin powder.
Yeah, that they put on top of the...
Guava.
Guava, yes. So yeah, I would buy guava and starfruit as like a dessert after my lunch. Yeah.
I find starfruit very bland, and the skin just tastes...
I don't know, I really like it. It depends on how the ripeness of the fruit as well.
Maybe I just never get a good one.
Yeah, okay. The next plant that we have is the wood of life.
Ooh.
We're kind of going from one extreme to another extreme, eh?
Yeah, you have started with the grave, now it's a wood of life. What is it? Yggdrasil? The tree of life from Northern mythology. I think it's Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, yeah, I think so. Yeah. No, it's not Yggdrasil, because it's not the mythology of plants episode. The tree is called Guaiacum officinale. Do you remember what officinale means?
Domesticated?
Not quite. It means sold in shops, hence denoting a useful plant.
Okay.
The reason why it's called the wood of life is because it's got a name that is lignum vitae, which translates directly to the wood of life. And, from Latin, it translates directly to wood of life. The plant derives its name...
Vitae. It's like lignum is the part of a tree. It's like the bark. And vita is life.
It's Latin. Nobody speaks Latin, so lignum vitae.
It's a dead language for a tree of life.
Yeah. Anyway, wood of life.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
It's okay. I'm just saying that, yeah, it's a dead language. It's like, you know how people pronounce, like, some people pronounce Sirapigia woody, and some people pronounce it as woody eye, because it's got double I.
Well, Adansonii.
Yeah. But some people just pronounce it as E. Yeah. Anyway, the plant derives its name from its medical uses. So, lignum vitae resin has been used to treat a variety of medical conditions from coughs to arthritis.
What is the common name of it, besides the tree of life?
Rough bark lignum vitae, guaiac wood. Yeah.
Doesn't ring any bells.
So, apparently that wood is also used, like, it's quite a good timber. It makes a good timber. So it's used for like cricket bats sometimes and baseball bats. But there are a lot of trees that are also called lignum vitae that are not that particular one, because there are apparently two species that are the true lignum vitae. And yeah, so the natural resin extracted from the wood is colorless. Oh, actually, no, this is the very cool part that I found about it. The Guaiacum officinale is one of two species yielding the true lignum vitae, as I mentioned. The other one being Guaiacum sanctum. So guaiac is a natural resin that you can extract from this wood. Apparently it's like a colorless compound, and it turns blue when it is in contact with substances that have peroxidase activity and then are exposed to hydrogen peroxide. So apparently what they do is they make guaiac cards. Again, I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, the guaiac.
It's guac, like guacamole.
Well, it's Guaiac, so I'm assuming it's like guaiac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guaiac cards are impregnated with the resin and are used to determine whether stool contains blood. So I'm assuming they're using it to identify if the person has like a colon cancer, because obviously blood in your stool is one of the first symptoms for it.
I do wonder if you can make color pigment out of it.
Well, it's colorless. When it's just extracted.
Dry it, crush it, and mix it with hydrogen peroxide.
Possibly, yeah, because apparently it produces like a blue color when it's in contact with peroxide. So the heme in hemoglobin contains peroxidase and will catalyze the oxidation of the guaiaconic acid when hydrogen peroxide is placed on the guaiac if if blood is present in stool.
You know what is heme?
Hey, to be honest, BLOOD should be blood, not blood.
Like brood.
I mean, you look at so blood present in stool. So stool is STOOL and blood is BLOOD. So blood in stool. Sorry.
What is it? Do you know what is heme in hemoglobin? Iron. It stands for iron.
Oh, something that I like. Yay.
Yeah. As an anemic person, you need to know.
Yeah.
Well, close
Well,
to.
I know that hemoglobin is the iron levels, pretty much. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the tree of life. From the graveyard plant to tree of life.
Hey, we cover all the bases.
Yeah.
And the next variety of grape within that wine is Viognier, which gives you...
Viognier sounds like Mjolnir.
Yeah, it's very Nordic.
Yeah.
So tangerine, peach, mango, honeysuckle, which I think yes, and rose.
So many roses.
Mm-hmm. Roses are red. Bruises are yellow.
Bruises are yellow.
Sometimes.
I guess once they start healing, yeah.
The next plant that I would like to talk about is, well, the next monstrosity that I would like to cover and that could change the whole path of a Bible if God had a bit more of sense of humor will be the death apple.
Is that another AI-generated plant?
No. Hippomane.
I'm having deja vu. I don't trust you because the other one was also apple.
Hippomane mencinella. The Spanish name for this is Árbol de la Muerte, meaning tree of death. Yes, you could have.
Sorry, from tree of heaven to tree of death.
Hey, we cover all the bases, as I said. As you could have guessed, it is not a very smart idea to eat the apple of the tree. Gosh, I would probably avoid looking at the tree as well if I knew that it was in an area. Also, don't touch the bark of the tree. Don't touch the sap, flower, your eggs. Well, essentially, to say it causes irritation will be considered a polite statement. Like, it is very kind of toxic.
Oh, okay. We have actually had it before on our
Similar, yeah.
On our
one of the episodes that
edible poisonous. Yeah.
Oh yeah. FYI, if you think that you don't want to have this tree in on your property anymore, burning it like a witch at the stake will be a mistake. I think it kind of. I think God
produces the smoke is quite toxic as well.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Oh.
I think it kind of was. It was kind of planned as a joke by the god or by the tree, and just covered all the ways of discomfort towards people or any living being, as the smoke from the tree will very likely leave you blind.
Yay!
Or burn your lungs as well. Oh yeah, this tree can be found in Caribbean and in Florida. Hi mom, hi dad. I'm on TV. Please avoid the apples.
Are they in Florida at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the death apple.
The fruit looks yummy, which is very deceptive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like apple/guava/pear.
Mm. Yeah, I was just because when you said mentioning tree or death apple, I was like, sounds very. Oh, there was it's also called beige apple. That's right. Yeah, it just sounded very familiar. That's why I was like, I'm having deja vu. Is that stupid plant that you made up?
No, it's not the banshee one. All right.
Oh no, sorry, there wasn't a tree of heaven. There was a wood of life. Yes, there was the wood of life, and then you said
That's what she
death,
said.
death,
The wood of life.
death tree, and now I actually have the tree of heaven.
Oh, nice. Let's do it.
Yeah. So a tree of heaven is Ailanthus altissima.
Altissima. Sounds like a spell from Harry Potter. Elantus Altissima.
Oh no, altissima. There you go. Very tall. So, Ailanthus altissima, and altissima means very tall.
So yeah, if you have a friend who is very tall, you can be like, insert
Altissima.
the name Altissima.
So Ailanthus altissima, also known as tree of heaven, is a medium-sized tree, which is, although altissima means very tall, it's a medium-sized tree, that reaches heights between 17 to 27 meters.
Just like every man, it likes to exaggerate its size.
It gets its scientific name from Moluccan Ailanthid, which means tall as the sky. This tree is native to China, but the seeds were brought to New York back in 1820. And it impressed all those plant collectors, right? Because it provides like generous shade, and it's got like, those unfamiliar quantities. So everyone's like, oh, it's such a cool tree. I want to have that tree.
Once again, what was it? While you're talking about the plant, Altissima what?
Ailanthus, Lanthus, altissima, the tree of heaven. Yeah, so it was like a novelty, in New York in America. It would become like an irony later.
Not that heavenly after all.
Because the seeds were distributed by US Department of Agriculture. Do you see the problem there? Do you see where I'm going to?
It's highly invasive species now.
Yeah, it became very popular, and it became quite a sturdy plant in Europe and Asia. And then during the gold rush, the Chinese miners brought the seeds with them as a source of traditional medicine and to remind them of home, and also as a source of food for the silk moths. In European languages, it's called the tree of heaven. In China, it is called, I'm sorry if I'm butchering this, Chouchen, ominously translated as foul-smelling tree. I guess it's
like a ginkgo.
Brother of ginkgo, yeah. Crush the leaves, and you will suffer of the smell of cat pee, or perhaps rancid peanuts, like rotten peanuts.
Well, at least it doesn't smell like rotten semen like ginkgo does.
So I'm quoting this particular paragraph from about around the world in 80 trees, but apparently people described the smell as rotting gym socks, stale urine, or even human semen.
Oh, close enough. Yeah.
Apparently, yeah. It stinks, but the insects love it.
Well, they're always drawn to shit.
Yeah. And one female tree can produce 350,000 seeds. But the trouble is, seeds is not the only way the tree spreads. It also spreads by suckering.
Nice. We all love suckers.
So even if you cut the tree down, it might actually sucker and send a sucker somewhere else, because obviously once you try, like if the tree feels threatened, actually I'm reading a really cool book right now that's called A Secret Life of Plants, where there are studies of plants sensing that they might be threatened. But anyway, that's another topic.
Yeah, it's like the video that I've recently watched on TikTok. The person was like, oh, recent study have told us that plants can see you. And then the vegetarian just sitting there, I don't know what I'm supposed to eat.
Yeah. Obviously when the plant feels threatened, it sends suckers, and you never know where the sucker will pop, depending on where the roots are. And because of that, the plant is now prohibited in a lot of countries for propagation, which, as I said, is ironic because it used to be distributed by US Agriculture, US Department of Agriculture. In New Zealand, you can find it as well. And obviously it is a massive, massive, massive pest because it is a prolific seeder, as we've mentioned before. It has aggressive root system that sends suckers, but also it produces toxins that prevent other plant species establishing around it.
So it is a blend between strawberry, pine, and ginkgo.
Yeah, and then it spreads through seeds and suckers. It resprouts from cut stump and root fragments. So I guess if you put this tree in every continent, it can just overtake.
Yeah, and
The
then
world.
it will become a next Pendo.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to. Actually, that's something that I wanted to mention because you mentioned that, like, if you die, what tree would you like to be? And you said that you wanted to be Pendo just because Pendo is.
Essentially, does what that tree does.
Yeah, yeah, but now you have another choice, which is.
I still prefer Pendo. Pendo at least looks nice. This one
And it
smells
doesn't
like
reek.
This one smells like cum. I don't feel like it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my second last plant.
Awesome. Thank you. The next plant on the list is kind of fun, and I want it now. I really, really want it. It looks very fun. So yeah, this plant's name is Psychotria elata.
Psychotria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like to look at the elata?
Yep.
Also known
Latta?
Elata.
Yep.
Also known as hooker's lips.
Ooh. Hey, sounds familiar. I might have actually seen that plant somewhere, but yeah.
This is the best representation of Audrey 2 when the flower just started to grow. I do wonder how many people have actually gotten the reference of the Little Shop of Horrors musical. But let's get back to the flower itself. The lips of the plant are actually not petals, but modified leaves, which make it look like lips of a girl who had a little bit too much acquaintance/obsession with the silicone. Or to be more descriptive, it looks like baboon's ass.
Great.
Plant can be found in Central and South America, and like every other cool plant on our list, it is kind of endangered because of the deforestation.
Yeah, I've seen it before. Yeah, the picture.
Yeah.
Do you know what a latte means?
No.
It also means tall.
It's a tall hooker.
Yep.
Do you have anything to say in response to the hooker lips?
No, it's just I've seen it before. But it does kind of look like big red lips.
Like Angelina Jolie lips. Yeah, and I'll just quickly cover one more plant, which is Draculosema.
Is that an orchid as well?
Yes.
Yay!
An orchid found in the southeast of Ecuador and Peru.
It still can't beat Dracula Vampira.
Yeah.
But still cool, yeah.
But this one also known as monkey face orchid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Still hung up on the episode 12, everything orchids.
Hey, come on. I feel like orchids, just the amount of orchids they have strange
there is
names.
not enough time.
Yeah, but like, when I was browsing through that book and sending you names, like so many of them are just like the hairy toilet seat or freaking, Dracula Vampira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the flower's name itself is actually quite descriptive. It is the plant that looks like a cute monkey face. As a nice bonus, it smells like oranges.
Oh, that's nice. At least it doesn't reek like other plants do.
Doesn't smell like shit or cum.
Yeah.
That's nice change.
Great.
Yes, that's one plant that I've covered and one that I snuck in. You can go in.
I've got one last plant.
Yep.
And it is a whistling thorn.
Well, that feels like a ring from our past. Is this one AI generated?
No, it's not actually. But yeah, it does.
Not the Banshee apple.
No, but believe it or not, okay, now it rings a bell because I was reading it and I'm like, for some reason, I feel like I've actually heard about it. It's because of your stupid plant.
Yeah.
Banshee apple, yeah. No, it's an actual real plant, and yes, it does whistle because of its holes.
Holy whistles.
So, it is called a Vachelia drepanolobium. Vachelia drepanolobium.
Violoncellia. Small violin. Small cello.
The tree, commonly known as Acacia drepanifolium. So it has been reclassified as Vachelia. Whistling thorn, a swollen thorn acacia native to East Africa. It grows to about 6 meters tall. It has swollen spikes that are naturally hollow and occupied by
ants.
Yes. How do you know that?
Because I know that plant.
Oh, do you? Okay. So
It provides habitat in exchange for protection.
yeah. So the tree, the seeds that have thorns on them, they are quite rich in like it's quite rich in energy, sugars, pretty much. So ants, the stinging,
Oh yeah, those are quite actually shit ants.
like the burning ants
They're
or
the
whatever you
burning
call
ants,
them.
yeah.
So they live in those thorns, but because the thorns only provide sugars, they sometimes have to leave the
Nest.
seed, the nest. Yeah. So,
Yeah, because essentially it provides a snack and the house.
yeah. But they still obviously have to go for proteins and fats, so they have to find like caterpillars and other insects, let's say. And when they leave, there could be a competition from another ant colony. So for the tree, the way it works is having ants in its fruit helps it protect itself from, let's say, goats.
In its thorn, not fruit.
It's a fruit. It's fruit that has thorns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was thorns on a branch though.
No.
No, okay.
It's a fruit that has thorns. When ants leave in it, the tree protects itself from goats, let's say, who try to bite the fruit off. Obviously, having a mouthful of stinging ants is not pleasant. But when the ants have to leave for other food sources, they could be attacked by or evicted by other colonies, call it that way. But funny enough, and kind paradoxically, the tree needs to be needs to feel threatened, because when it feels threatened, it produces more sugars in its fruit and obviously attracts ants that will reside in that fruit. But then
I love how many trees need to be threatened or damaged or something to actually provide things that are potentially of use to us, like kawa, for example.
So so the tree kind of has to have large herbivores around, because if it doesn't have herbivores around, it just doesn't provide enough sugars, so it doesn't have enough ants in it, and it drops its defenses, and it can suddenly be attacked by someone else.
Well, it doesn't have enough incentive to produce sugars to give incentive to the ants.
Yeah, but it's quite a cool symbiotic relationship between like ants and fruit. Didn't we have another tree that had that symbiotic relationship with insects? Oh no, it was the Ravenala palm that had symbiotic relationship with the lemurs.
Maybe.
Boy, your memories.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's the second time we're talking about Ravenala and you can't remember it.
I know.
The Madagascar, the traveler's palm?
I know that it's a Madagascar palm. I know that it has a bluish fruit.
It has the most blue seed in the world, yes.
But I can't remember the lemurs.
I like to move it.
I remember us singing about it.
Yeah. So, that's quite an extensive list of yet another compilation of stranger plants and their weird names.
Girl, wait, I have a last one.
Huh?
I have a last one.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said you snuck another one. Okay.
To finish up, I would like to give a shout out to the other strange plants that a lot of us have in our home, which is air plants.
Oh yeah.
How cool.
Mine is like half dead, but yeah, it's alright.
I mean, how cool are those buggers?
Spanish moss.
Yeah. Most of air plants fall under the bromeliad category. Spanish moss is one of them. Usually, when you think of bromeliads, you would think of the potted plants that not many of us can keep alive, and even fewer of us are actually able to get pups out of them. That's the only way they essentially stay alive, because after they flower, they die. You had experience with that at some point. I think you had...
No, not me.
You had bromeliads, and you kept on giving pups to me and...
Oh, yes, actually, yes. No, I did have a bromeliad. That's right. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. See, I know you better than you are.
I guess you have some memory there, yes.
By the way, when I used to work in garden center, they used to import a bunch of not bromeliads, but air plants into the store, and at some point they just started to bloom at the same time with little, like tiny blue flowers, which is quite cool.
Lemony green flowers. That's
Lemony.
what the book says. I actually, believe it or not, speaking of Spanish moss, so there is a Around the World in 80 Trees, but there is also a book called Around the World in 80 Plants. Honestly, two of the greatest books I've ever read on plants. Just the way the author describes plants and like how cool they are is really cool. And I'm actually, the latest page that I read was Spanish moss. Yeah, I haven't finished it quite yet. But did you know that it's related to pineapples?
No.
Because pineapples are bromeliads as well.
Oh. The more you know. I do wonder if bromeliads have any fruits that are actually edible to us that are not pineapples.
I don't know.
But yeah, why do I like this plant in particular? Like this variety of plants in particular? Why don't you like it? You can forget to water it for weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't need soil, and that means that there will be no bloody gnats in it or around it. Just like in every video that you see on Instagram these days, like, why do you think that I would like to have this lifestyle? Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this. And just like lady sitting with nets around her, which is the quote from Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
And I like the way that you can decorate it to look as a jellyfish by using the sea urchin's skeleton.
So, yeah, but apparently it has also been used in like voodoo art.
Oh.
I haven't finished that chapter quite yet, but yeah, apparently it's been used in voodoo art as well.
Post it on Instagram then.
And also, it's been used as a freaking dog toy, because my dog decided to steal it from my, because I have it at the bottom of my, your Bird of Paradise.
Which is overgrowing the house.
Yeah, I have really tall, well, we don't have ceilings, we have pretty much cathedral ceiling, and it's touching the roof. I actually had to pull a string down so it doesn't touch it. It kind of hangs over the couch, so it's really cool. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's putting out another leaf.
Yep. I just sent you a picture this morning. So yeah, and my dog decided to steal it and play with it, because it's also attached to like a little cocodamo with a orchid in it.
Is the orchid still alive?
Huh?
Is the orchid still alive?
Barely, but it's still alive.
I might steal it.
Yeah.
I want to try to resurrect it.
Yes, because it's just laying there, and I sometimes water it when I water my
the Bird of Paradise, yeah.
Bird of Paradise, yeah. All right.
Let's say Nikolai.
There you go. Is Nikolai the big one, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, duh. And Regalis is the one that grows only up to 2 meters.
Nah, that's more than 2 meters.
Well, that's not the Regalis that you have.
Okay. Cool. So I guess that does comprehend the list of stranger plants and their weird names.
Until the part 3.
Until the part 3, that's right. So that's a wrap on Two Tipsy Plants. Thank you for getting tipsy with us today and joining in on our plant-loving shenanigans. We hope we've inspired you to grab a glass of wine and give your leafy friends some extra love. If you would like to help our podcast, feel free to follow so you don't miss out on our next wild and tipsy adventure. And just want to say again, thank you to everyone who listens to us. We see the numbers growing and we highly appreciate it. We do ask you to share our podcast with your other plant-loving enthusiasts, because we are currently not sponsored by anyone. We are doing it at our free time. We would love to grow, so if you help us grow, we would highly appreciate it. And again, thank you for listening. And as I said, don't forget to spread the word. Keep it green.
And keep it tipsy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.